The boys are back. A couple of tough weeks. We can't lie. We're an honest show on the punt. It's been a couple of tough weeks after having an absolutely unbelievable start to the season. For me as well, I was doing quite well. Bish, you were just going lovely, steady, getting your touchdown treble picks in as well. You've been pretty consistent with them. We're pretty. Then it's all kind of kilted off for us the last weeks. But how are you, firstly, pal? And gonna cover your bets last week as well?
Yeah, I'm good. Like you said, we started like an house on fire. I think you're definitely way still in profit, Joe. So don't worry about that. But we're on a bit of a mid-season lull at the minute, but we're looking to kick on. And I said to you off air, this is the most confident I've been in my bets through the 10 weeks. So week 11, I'm very confident. But just recapping slightly, best bets, I was 1 out of 3, but I did land my touchdown scorer at a nice price. So like me, if you do mine individually, it were 2 out of 4 and a small profit. So Drake May rushing yards, we wanted 26. He had that big run that I thought he'd get. He finished on 25. He took a kneel down. He dropped to 24. So we're 2 yards short. Absolute nightmare there. Kamara, the double, overs on his receiving, receptions and his yards. That was easy. So that came in a nice, just above evens price. Aaron Rodgers, I'm blaming you and Tag Joe. I got sucked in. Never again. Rodgers is gone for me. So that one was a non-starter. We'll put it that way. And as I said, Kittle came in at a very nice price, just over 6-4, I think, fraction. So yeah, not great on the best bets, as I said, 1 out of 3, but individually, small profit if you took them singles.
I'll just cover mine quickly. I had the Jets as well. Like you said, got sucked into it myself. The Jets and Breece Hall. Just a sad day at the office for the Jets. San Francisco, Tampa Bay Bucks. I had Bucky Irving overs, the 29.5. He hit that by about treble. Baker rushing. I think you were close. I can't quite remember now, Bish. Actually, I do apologise. A bit unprofessional. I can't quite remember if Baker hit it or not. But the big one was I had Christian McCaffrey getting the touchdown, which he didn't get anyway. So that was my one that I thought would be a lock, and that were 4-1. So I got close, but C-Mac just looked a bit rusty, to be fair to him. Normally doesn't get straight back into it, but looked a bit rusty. And then my big bet boost at 5-1, I had obviously the Daniels, Russell Wilson, 200 plus throwing yards, and both to get 2+ passing touchdowns. Daniels hit the 200 plus, but didn't get the 2 passing touchdowns. Russell just got under the 200 plus. It was like 195 and got both passing touchdowns. So I was fairly close, but not quite enough. So yeah, close to do it in this game, sadly, means lost money. So yeah, apologies. I think I'm in the right areas, but I've just didn't land them. So yeah, apologies on that one. And quickly on tags, if I haven't clicked off of it, it was it the Justin Jefferson and Brock Purdy, or was that the week before?
Yeah. So yeah, Justin Jefferson came way short of his yardage. I think nearly every pass to Jefferson was intercepted. Purdy breezed past his. It was over 300 passing yards. I think he ended up with 353. And Barkley 2+ touchdowns. Tag, you're a week early, mate. That sailed in last night. So and he had Josh Allen in the touchdown treble, so that came in. So we were just a Xavier Legette horse celebration away from a massive 28-1. So we've reloaded. We go again and see what happens this week.
I was sad. I was right about the Panthers' young court getting touchdowns. Just every other person got action other than Legette in the touchdown area. He did get involved a bit, but yeah, didn't get in that red zone like I thought, like the evidence of the previous week suggested he would. So yeah, really sorry to let you down there, lads. I were devastated. And it makes it worse as I've been slaughtered online by everyone. Don't take the early pick. Don't count. Your day's ruined. Lesson learned, and won't be doing that again. But into it, Bish, we've both been saying loads of exciting matchups, loads to get at. I think we've said that, but then I think a lot of our bets are not overlapping, but very close together here. So I think there's some locks and some games where you really need to attack. So we think the bookies are wrong, but we'll prove it now. Bish, what's your first bet?
Straight in, I've got George Pickens over 66.5 receiving yards. And it's a big matchup in the AFC North, the Steelers versus the Ravens. And he's smashed this in his last 3 games. He's found that connection with Russell Wilson. He's really, on their sideline. Some of the catches, the acrobatic stuff he's doing is incredible. Coming up against the Ravens, who are dead last in the league against passing yards. They are very leaky. We know they've got a high-powered offense, but the defense isn't keeping up at the minute. So there's great opportunity out there, and we expect Russ to, they call it the moon ball. He's literally throwing it in the sky, getting so much airtime under it, and George Pickens has just got to pick it out. He's got the upper body strength to get away from his defender and come down with it, as he's shown in the last few weeks. So for me, in a game that I think we'll see lots of points and potentially seeing the Steelers having to throw to keep up, I think Pickens is the main man. He's proved it the last 3 weeks, and it continues that way. So George Pickens to have a big day for me.
Was it over 66, Bish? I had the receiving. What's the official line?
Yeah, 66. Yeah,
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I think that the way the Baltimore's offense is going to be run heavy with the two with obviously the 2-headed monster. Zay Flowers has been doing pretty well. Then have to find a way to keep up on offense, Bish, and I really like George Pickens. He's said some concerning stuff at times, but then he's made up for it with his absolute daftness, with his ability to start a fight for any reason whatsoever. He's just a character to watch on the field, and I think he's the type that you want to see play football. You're excited when there's highlights, when he's even on screen. You don't even realise he's on screen, and you see something daft happen. The money's on that it's George Pickens. So it's really like it, and like I said, a fun one to keep out for anyway, because you're gonna have fun cheering this one in. I'll take you through my first bet, and it's in the Green Bay game against Chicago Bears. I'm calling it the Josh Jacobs double. I've got him over rushing yards and over the receiving yards. He's hit the over receiving yards every week but one in his second to last game. I think he's looked tired recently, and he's just had that bye. I think that bye's come at the perfect time for him. He's been used an extraordinary amount. They've had to bring in some of these other running backs to really lighten the load because he does look worn out. He's got the bye. He's had a week's rest to recuperate and get ready for this one. It's a division matchup, a massive rivalry in the sport of NFL. When I lived in Wisconsin, the Green Bay, but I lived near the border. So to say, in the scheme of things, where you'd have Chicago fans living at the uni, you'd have obviously mainly the Green Bay Packer fans. It's big day. Everyone's sat on the seats. Everyone's talking about it all day. Jacobs is coming to play with being one of the star players on the offense, and I think 70 plus is hit this most weeks. The overs is hit every week but one on the receiving end of things. The defense has been pretty good for Chicago. The offense has been terrible. I'm hoping Green Bay get a lead early. Whether Chicago show up or not's different, but I think Josh Jacobs runs this game out for them.
Yeah, I think an underrated one in this one, that bye week as well, is probably helped Jordan Love. He was struggling with a groin injury, and that week rest, like you said there, if Jordan Love is back to what we've seen earlier on in his career, if they can get that lead, they can lean on Josh Jacobs to do the rest. The Chicago Bears, they've just sacked their offensive coordinator, so who knows what they're going to bring on offense. Like you said, the defense has been good. It's whether their offense for me will muster up anything. Other than that, like you said, I see Green Bay taking a lead and running the ball, which leads to Josh Jacobs getting this fresh off the bye. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Like you said, he smashes the receiving. It's let's hope he gets those rushing yards.
I like it. Yeah, your second best.
My second one, and I've thrown another double in here. I'm liking it. I must admit, I think it's. I'm not sure how it loses, but Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns and David Montgomery anytime touchdown, and that is 2.55 on the decimal. So I believe I'm not great with fractions, but it's up there, 7-4 possibly, something around that. But yeah, coming in, this is the biggest spread of the week. So they're -14 against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. So biggest spread of the season. Sorry, not only the week, the season. The Lions have played 2 back-to-back road games last week. Some might say they got very lucky. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, but they managed the kicker. Jack Bates bailed them out with 2 late field goals to win the game. But now they're back at home. I think they go to town on the Texans here. The Texans 2-8, an awful season, and we've got Mac Jones in backup quarterback. I think the Texans at home absolutely light this up. Jared Goff has thrown 2 touchdowns, at least 2 touchdowns in 66% of his games. You know, I like my percentages. I like my my odds. So, you know, 2/3 of his games he's been on fire. And the Jags ranked 30th against the pass, and they've given up this in 6 out of 10 games. So, I just think Jared Goff will be all over this. And then just to touch on Montgomery, he's scored in 8 out of 10 games this season. As I said, with a double-digit 14-point spread, we're expecting to see plenty of red zone action. And I think David Montgomery, you know, close to that line, he is the back and he gets over. So I just think it's a big day for the Lions. They got over that scare last week, and now they absolutely, unfortunately, put Jaguars to the sword. So big game, plenty of points, and hopefully 2 passing and 1 rushing from Monty.
I would my normal argument, like saying, "Oh, what happens if this happens?" would be if you put the backups in, but they don't put the
Yeah.
So I'd say it's got to be a lot. Jacksonville have been horrendous on the defensive side, and I think they'll just be enough where they can maybe get a touchdown to make Detroit just keep going. I think they might just have that in them. So yeah, I'm with you, Bish. I think big game, and that's just tremendous odds for something. So, and Detroit do like having them bounce back games. I think that's what Dan Campbell does. He motivates them. He says we need to back. He gets them up for them every time they lose. They come back and normally win by massive figures. So I see why the odds are so crazy. You've got Dan Campbell roaring them up into a frenzy. You've got Jared Goff wanting to prove he's still this player and get a good bit of form in going into the playoffs. Monty touchdown, like you said, unless something crazy happens, should be the lock of the year. So yeah.
And just to back up what you say there, that they beat the Cowboys 47-9 and they beat the Titans 52-14. So they don't let off. They keep going.
They just keep going. It's brilliant. It's like that's one of the nightmares about NFL. When some team does get in the lead, it's unwatchable sometimes. Where Dan Campbell goes, "Not today, lads. We're going to make sure the fans get the money worth." And this is this is brilliant. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take you through my second one. It's in the Minnesota Tennessee, and I guess on the not rebound games, because obviously Detroit did win, but unimpressively, I've got the Vikings, same sort of deal here, against the Tennessee Titans. I've got the Vikings scoring some points and Justin Jefferson having his own rebound game. He's had a couple of quiet weeks, and we've all gone for this now. We've all gone for this Jefferson line. I think I'm going to be the one to hit it, Rich. I'm not. I think it's 39.5. They're expecting a low game because the Titans do have a good defense, but at this point, what are they playing for? I think the Denver Broncos did it last year. The certain teams who have them good defenses, Chicago have done it in previous years, where they just it drops off as the season goes because defense, however good players you are, I think a lot of it is about motivation, about that teamwork and fighting for something altogether. So I think Tennessee are going to start dropping off. They don't have as much. They'll probably be wanting a pick anyway. I think Vikings get 20 plus points here, and I think Vikings will levis, and then we've got enough to get at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. So I thought it were low. And then Jefferson's touchdown receiving yards, simple, bounce back, couple of bad weeks. He needs a big one here. People are doubting him a little bit. Jordan Addison's posting some things saying, "Release me, not release me as a team, but let me cook." And I think Jefferson just needs to put them all in their place again, and it's been coming now. I think the TD should be a lock, and the overs, if he has a good game, like you said, it's not on Jefferson. This is more on Sam Darnold having a bounce back as well, and I think he does. I think he's good enough to handle this. I think the pressure's not on because they should be able to win this comfortably enough. And well, let's see. But I think I'm backing mine and man Darnold.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is on Darnold. Like you said, he's been forcing it to Jefferson, and teams have been reading that spot on. So maybe if he gives it a bit more to Addison, it frees up Jefferson a little bit more. So, and like you said, I tried it. Tags tried it. So third time lucky. Yeah, he's due a touchdown, Jefferson. I think this might be his 3 weeks with no touchdown, so he's definitely due. And I like the points in this one. And Will Levis, the Titans, is backing at quarterback. You know, he throws the ball regardless, whether you're 7 points up, 7 points down, he's not bothered. So, you know, it could be a touchdown to Calvin Ridley. It could be an interception and a touchdown to Minnesota as well, which obviously keeps the score ticking over. So, yeah, if we see a good Darnold, I think the points comes in this one, and then it's just getting the ball to Jefferson in the end zone, I think.
Like it. Back to you.
And then my third, and you know, I thought Eckler was a lock all season. This is crazy, I think. Christian McCaffrey over 27.5 receiving yards. And for a guy of his caliber, last week, you said he did look rusty coming back, but I thought that was all in the rushing game. He didn't have many rushing yards. Maybe that, you know, they tried to limit him. He had 13 carries, only managed around 35 yards. But in the passing game, he was prolific. You know, he had 68 yards off 6 receptions. And this is what he does. You know, he's that Swiss Army knife. And to be at 27.5, I think is crazy. So I think get on this while you can, because next week it'll be 10 points higher. It'll be closer to what Devon Achan is every week. And then just in the reverse game, they played the Seahawks week 6. All the backs combined, they used 3 backs. They went for 31 yards receiving. Kyle Juszczyk, Jordan Mason, and I think it's Peter Taylor Jr. So McCaffrey, I think he could get this in one throw. It could be done in the first quarter. This, so yeah. Hopefully it's an early night for this one. But yeah, for me, I think this is just. You know, we've talked about layup, slam dunks. It's a finger roll. This one.
Like it, Bish. Yeah, couldn't agree. Yeah, couldn't agree more. To be honest, so yeah. I've got nothing else to say. It's crazy, isn't it? They get on it quick before that. That will probably be higher by the time this video is out. So I'd say as soon as you see it, click on the video, watch the video, bet on it by the time I finish talking now, because get it on white, because that's going to probably steadily rise, I imagine.
Yeah, it's annoying. I'm restricted on where it's at 1.9. It's with our friends who we do the bet boost with, and I'm restricted, so I had to go to another bookie, and I got slightly less. So, but if you can get on there at 1.9, 10 to 11, that's crazy.
It is. Well, on that one, I like the shout out, Bish, because it's time for the Bet365 Bet Boost. As I said, every week it's on your options. I pick one. I've landed 2 this year. They're normally big odds. This one's 5 to 1. And Bish, it's one close to your heart. It is in the Rams Patriots game. I saw this and I thought it were crazy, apart from obviously the one. I've got Cooper Kupp 50 plus. I've got Puka Nacua 50 plus, and I've got Demario. Well, I've not got this was one of the options. Demario Douglas 50 plus. These are all obviously on the receiving yards. I think Kupp and Nakua's should be a lock. Nacua randomly had one bad week, not last week, the week before, but every other week smashes this. Kupp's smashed this consistently all season. Kupp's having a bit of not a down year, but a quieter year, but still hits 50 receiving yards, I think, every week, but about 1 or 2 when he's played this year. No, I think 1, sorry, because obviously he missed a few games. I think he's missed 1 this year at 50 plus. It's simply all on to Mario Douglas. They normally do this. When they give these options, there's normally one that's the riskier pick for you, and I think it's Demario Douglas. But as you've self-admittedly said, Bish, the Rams receiving core is not very strong this year. They're full of young cornerbacks that are still figuring out the position, figuring out the role. Demario Douglas has had steady production all year. He's had enough games where I thought it was worth it of 50 plus. I think he's about 50-50. So that's the thing. But the matchup's there. The Drake May's getting better and better. I really like him as a player. We bet on him a couple of times, mainly in the rushing game, but I think hopefully he gets it to Demario. Obviously, I can't choose the 350 pluses, or it wouldn't be the bet boost option. So I probably wouldn't have had him in, but I think he's done it enough for my liking to take this on because the other two should be very solid locks.
Yeah, I think this will be a tight game, which leads to a bit similar to the Rams played Monday night against the Dolphins, and again it was very tight, and we saw Kupp and Nakua both smash 50 plus. So I think it'll be very similar to that. And yeah, as you said there, it's probably on Douglas. I thought when Drake May stepped in, Douglas was his main target, but he does spray it around a little bit to Hunter Henry and Keishon Butte and all sorts. So hopefully we get a good matchup, get a couple of catches and some yards after the catch on that one. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Two good running backs as well, so it's an interesting dynamic how the game will unfold. But yeah, let's fingers crossed out for some passing yards.
And I'll read tags. We're on tags Treble. He apologise he can't be here. We all put times in. We all had 3 different times that were all available, and Tag took the hand up and said I'll miss out. So apologies you couldn't make it, Tag. I'll read it out, Bish. You give me your thoughts on his bet. It's the Lions and Jags game. He's got over 47.5 points. Kind of what we were saying earlier. The Lions could hit this by themselves if they really wanted to be nasty, like Dan Campbell does, as we were laughing about. CMC over 79.5 rushing yards, kind of along lines of you. A bit rusty in the rushing game, as you said. Hopefully he's back. He'll get it in the receiving. Hopefully he just dominates the game altogether. And Russell Wilson over 226.5 passing yards. What do you think?
Yeah, as you said there, if the Jags can get to around 10 to 14 points, I think the Lions will comfortably cover the rest. I think CMC is the interesting one for me. Like you said, it is his second game back. He has been out with tendonitis in both his, I believe, calves and Achilles. So whether he gets enough carries to reach 79.5, pretty poor ground game last week, that'll be an interesting one to see his involvement. And then Russell Wilson, I expect points in there. I expect him to be chasing the game. So a couple of big plays to George Pickens, and hopefully we both cover that. So yeah, it's a good one, and in the games that are probably good to watch as well. So hopefully we're going to see plenty of red zone action and these teams popping up all over the screen.
Brilliant, yeah. And then the final one, it's the it's not the Bet365. It is the touchdown treble, and we've got a fun version. It's the wrong week for it, but we're having it anyway. we didn't do this on purpose. It just turned out this way when we sent them in. Let's go.
It's the self-proclaimed national tight end week, in it. So yeah, George, I'm just rolling it back. George Kittle, same as last week. He delivered last week. He scored 7 touchdowns this season. And in week 6 against the Seahawks, who they play this week, he had 2 touchdowns as well. So another big game for George, hopefully.
Yeah, I have got Tucker Kraft, obviously for the Green Bay Packers. Again, he's had plenty of touchdowns. He's had 5 on the year. He's been pretty good all year. Recently, Jordan Love's been turning to him more and more in the red zone. Them 5 have been all since week 4 and 5. So in the last 5 weeks, he's had 5 touchdowns. And Tucker Kraft, yeah, I think he's a red zone option, and Packers want to be putting up some points in this one. And then I'll just quickly say tags David and Njoku.
That shouldn't say the Bills. That should say the Browns. That's my error.
Yeah.
My error.
It's all. Well, the first one you've ever made, Bish, so I'll let you off. My 2 a week, so I'll not judge you too harshly. We've got David and Njoku for the Cleveland Browns. obviously, massive target. Cleveland trying to salvage or find anything for the year. And Njoku's been a bit of a favourite for famous Jameis so far.
Yeah, it's a nice price, that one. Come on.
The punt tight end day, the punt national tight end day. Way changing the week it's happening on, and it's gonna be a big week for us. Quick thoughts on yours, Bish. I think you've nailed yours. I'm gonna go cash out on one of my extra ones I put in and go do it on yours instead because I like it so much. So yeah, that's gonna be my next action. But give us your final thoughts, pal.
Should we just run through it for the shorts?
Oh yeah, I've done
almost forgot.
1-1 on the mistakes.
Yeah. So bet 1 is George Pickens over 66.5 receiving yards. Bet 2 is a double. It's Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns and David Montgomery anytime touchdown. And bet 3 is Christian McCaffrey over 27.5 receiving yards.
Tags treble is Lions and Jags get the overs on the 47.5. CMC over 79.5 and Russell Wilson over 226 passing yards. CMC's is in the rushing yards, as you can see, and that's 5.2 to 1 on Tags treble. On my one, we've got the Josh Jacobs double. He's had a bye week rest, so I've got 70.5 rushing yards and over the 13.5 receiving yards at 5-2. We've got in the Vikings Titans game, I've got the overs 39.5. I think that's very low. We've got Justin Jefferson getting a touchdown that is due and over on the receiving yards, which we've all had an attempt on. And I thought, well, I'll make it the trifecta. And then the Bet365 boost, when you're loading it up, go find it. I think this is very close to a banker, apart from the one big risk. It's Cooper Kupp, Demario Douglas, and Puka Nacua. 50-plus receiving yards each, and that's at 5-1. There's 2 bankers there. Come on, Demario Douglas. Let's have a good game. And then one final one. It is again the punt national tight end day. We're redoing the system. We've made it our own. We've got Bishers with George Kittle, me with Tucker Kraft, and David Njoku. That is for the Cleveland Browns, and that's 27-1. We're going big. It's due, and if it does come off, again, as I say every week, Bish, I'll see you on the night out in Leeds.
Yeah. Enjoy ourselves.
Give us your final thoughts.
As we said, we're on the home stretch now into the season. I'm confident this week. Get on. Rob Fussy, let us know what you're on in the comments. James as well. We've not heard from you. I apologise again. That's 2 weeks. I've apologised now. Come on. Give me something. Let's have it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, lads. It's give us all the likes you can. Give us comments. They always say it helps with the algorithm. The more comments, the more stuff you put on the YouTube, especially, the more it gets sent out to people, the more we can build the punt community and have our laughs and taking the piss out with me on my daft bet. So yeah, have a good week. I will see you Sunday, Bish, and let's hope yours and mine and Tags and everyone's comes off and we're partying again like we did a couple of weeks ago.
That's it. Back on the horse.